Welcome to Nice Ashes. I'm Mike.
And I'm Nate.
So what are we smoking today, Nate?
We are starting our Nub series. And Nub is what? Just the brand name of the cigar, right?
Nub is the series. I believe that these are Olivia's.
Okay. And we're starting with the Nub Cameroon.
Yes. We have 7 of them, I want to say. I'll double check that before we commit to the number.
Yes, there's some number greater than 2, probably less than 10.
We have 7. Yes, and the nubs are I'm pretty sure the nubs are by Olivia. So, they're good. Nubs are kind of their own. Oliva. I thought it was Olivia. But that's the name of my niece.
Oh, yeah.
One of my nieces. So, yeah, we're going to start off with the Nub Cameroon.
Yes.
You can get these bushel packs from Pipes and Cigars for a pretty reasonable price, given the expense of the stick.
On this wrapper is a little bit lighter. Not, I wouldn't go full on to call it a Connecticut, but it's not quite as dark as a Maduro.
It is firmly in the medium category.
And it's got good draw off the bat.
Yes. This is a 4-inch cigar. Very girthy.
Yes.
They have the reputation of being a 4-inch cigar that smokes like a 6-inch cigar for length.
Yes.
So I'm sure you can hear the third podcaster in the background. She's getting very excited.
She loves podcast day.
She does. She loves every day.
Well, why wouldn't you? As a dog.
Right. Well, 2 of the cats decided they wanted to hang out with us.
Perfect.
Evie. So, they got a dog and 2 cats.
I would say the first couple puffs, it tastes fairly medium.
Yep, nice, good flavor, but medium. We'll see. I've had a nub before, I think.
Okay.
Pretty sure that we got one at Tobacco Grove a while ago.
Yes.
And
I had one too.
Band.
Yeah, I think that one was just like blonde or something, the one that I got.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go look. I could be way off, but
I tried a couple puffs off of one that was a Cameroon.
Okay.
By someone we both know. Let me try their cigar. So, you know them better than I do.
That is interesting.
Yes. They are a big fan of the nubs, the lighter nubs.
How do I know them better? I don't know anybody that smokes cigars.
Yes, you do. You're related to them, kind of.
My brother?
By marriage.
Oh, okay. So my brother? Oh,
yeah,
no, wait, that's the queen. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I heard the best theory ever on how Queen Elizabeth died.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many of our listeners are followers of Gail Cord Schuler, but she's an internet lolcow, and she's hilarious. And she's got all kinds of theories about all sorts of wonderful things, but the one about Queen Elizabeth was that she died having sex with a horse.
Okay.
And it's a very long story. I'm not going to get into it. If anybody wants to find out the truth behind the Queen's death, it involves Prince Andrew and a horse and blood thinners.
Okay. So, and also, if that boy returns, that's on page 2. I did see some pretty funny memes because, of course, being the head monarch of a, colonial country that has given everybody an Independence Day, which is the one one holiday most countries share in the world, independence from Britain. There were people on both sides of the spectrum. Some are very sad to see her have passed, and this is, this will be a couple weeks after the fact, but that's what has most recently happened in the news. And some are happy that she passed. And one of the ones that I saw that was pretty funny was, listing a bunch of like Queen Elizabeth's good things, and the last one was, and being a good cousin to her husband. So, because they are third cousins, or were, and
well, they're definitely inbreeders.
Yes,
inbreeders and pedoprotectors. So, I thought Prince Andrew's involvement with the Queen's death in Gail Cord Schuler's version of events was quite hilarious. Not sure if she quite caught on to that, but it was pretty good all the same.
So outside of royal families that are really just kind of figureheads and nothing more, what do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, I figured we'd talk about Donovan's Reef.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
I tried to get my Sarah in on the action.
It's a tough sell, dude.
Tough sell. That's what she said. Literally. Yep. Why do you want me on this podcast so bad?
I was saying tough sell to actually watching Donovan's Reef.
Oh, she loves it. I told her that you didn't like it. God. And she was like, what?
Okay, so let's set the stage a little bit, Mike. I grew up watching John Wayne movies with my dad and grandpa, and we watched primarily all of John Wayne's cowboy movies. Western flicks, and we would dabble occasionally into his war flicks, but we were pretty firmly in the westerns, so sure. True Grit and The Searchers, Big Jake, Sons of Katie Elder,
Angel and the Bad Man, the great one,
North to Alaska.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay.
I should watch
Rio, and then Rio Grande, Rio Bravo, and Rio Lobo, and two of those are the same film but with different people. I mean, John Wayne's in both.
Right.
Let's see, Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and The Shootist. I mean, there's more.
Shootist.
The Train Robbers.
I've seen almost all of those films, other than the North to Alaska.
And then, so my first exposure to Donovan's Reef was when I was in high school, and my parents and grandparents were watching it. And I just couldn't get into it, and so I left and did something else in Grandpa's basement, which sounds super sketch, but it really wasn't. But he had cable, so I could go watch whatever I wanted.
Sure.
And then Mike was telling me that it was one of his favorite John Wayne movies. And so I said that I would watch it again and give it another shot. And so, I did. And I still don't like it. But I'm excited to kind of get into why, because it's not just like I don't know. There's reasons, is all I'll say.
Sure. So I generally like John Wayne films, but I really like his non-traditional Western films. I'm not a big fan of traditional Western films. I'm more of a spaghetti Western kind of guy.
Yep.
So I like McClintock and some of the more absurd works that he's done, which I would consider Donovan's Reef in there. The Quiet Man's in there. Yeah. What is it, Brannigan, where he's a detective.
Okay.
I like The Shootist because it kind of turns the whole Western genre upside down. Yes. Especially for a John Wayne film, Well,
and that's why I like The Searchers so much, because and have you seen that one?
Yes, I
have. For that one, like for, I don't know, 3/4 of the movie at least, or maybe more, 3.8 out of 4 is of the movie. You think John Wayne is the bad guy, and he's going to straight up shoot his niece. Right. And it's not till the very end. So, for him to play a bad guy at all is, for that era, even if you're a big major movie star hero, like that's fairly rare, because back then you got typecast a lot into the hero/villain.
Absolutely.
So I like that one a lot, and the cinematography is great. That's also a John Ford Donovan's Reef is a John Ford.
Yep. Yep. Have you ever seen Iron Sky?
Yeah.
Yes, I like that one a lot too.
Is that the one with John Wayne? Or are you talking like the 2017?
No, the one with John Wayne. The one with John
okay.
Wayne,
Nope. I've seen the one with Nazis on the Moon, which also is a great movie.
Okay. Maybe it's not Iron Sky. I own the film. I can tell you later.
Okay.
I thought it was Iron Sky. It's where they're World War II deployment or World War II pilots that are dropping off payloads of supplies, and the plane comes down.
Okay.
And
I know, like Sans
Island
Iwo
in the
Jima.
Sky. That's the name.
Island in the Sky.
Island in the
Okay.
Sky. Yeah, and their plane goes down in the Arctic Circle, and they all go insane.
Oh.
And, One guy
That sounds
starts going
interesting.
crazy and like wanders off into nowhere, and it's actually interesting, especially for a John Wayne movie.
I don't think I've ever seen this one.
Yes, Island in the Sky. They did. It came out in theaters, and then they never released it on DVD until I was in high school. You
Okay.
probably were in high school too.
That's probably why I've never seen it, because my grandfather had all of it on VHS, and then he slowly converted his collection to DVD.
Yes. Yeah, I watched it on AMC. It was the first screening of the movie in how many ever years. But it came out right before the Flying Tigers, and the Flying Tigers just kind of sank it because it's kind of negative. Or it's a psychological movie, which wasn't popular at the time.
Yeah, and not really in John Wayne's fans' wheelhouse.
Right. They were popular. They just weren't popular for John Wayne.
Yeah, because you had a lot of Hitchcock films out at that time, and those were mostly psychological thrillers.
Right.
I mean, some were borderline kind of more of your straight up horror, but they're all kind of have that psychological who's the killer kind of vibe to them. So, but when you go to a John Wayne movie, you're expecting, 6 shooters and rains in the teeth and swearing at people. So,
right. My dad calls it the John Wayne gun, which is a single action Colt that never runs out of bullets.
Yes. I like the John Wayne rifle, which is the Henry rifle with the oval lever that he can swing while he's riding on horseback to reload. Even
at 65 or 70 years old.
Yes.
Yes.
But this was back before CGI, so he was really doing it.
Yes. Yeah, he was really doing it. Yeah, he was.
Was he hitting whatever he was aiming at? Probably not, but
I'm guessing
that's the movie magic.
Right.
So let me just up front say that I was fairly excited about rewatching Donovan's Reef, even though I had such a negative thing coming into it. But I really enjoy Lee Marvin.
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing is, in the end, I gave it a 6 out of 10. So I won't say that I hated it. It's not a hate, but it's probably more of like, I'd watch it if, you liquored me up and were like, hey, do you want to watch Donovan's Reef? Sure, Mike.
Right.
I'll watch Donovan's Reef with you. But I'm not really going to go seek it out. And here's why. And this is maybe the biggest reason why, is it starts on Lee Marvin on a boat, and he punches the captain and dives off. And it's like, okay. And then for the next 45 minutes, I was trying to figure out what the hell John Wayne's character's name is, because they call him 3 or 4 different things, but never twice in a row. So I wasn't quite sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is his rank in thing, but you don't hear him. And Michael, I think, is his first name.
Yep. Michael. Yep.
So they've got like a slew of nicknames, and they've got a slew of other names, first names, last names that they call him. And, it was just very confusing to try and figure out what his name was, and was he actually the owner of the bar, and where all of this free beer was coming from underneath the bar, because they go into the bar,
the
everybody.
amount of cigarettes that they throw onto the ground and bottles of beer that they break are ridiculous. It's hilarious. Well, it's a comedy. It's supposed to be farcical. I view it as a farcical movie. I also think it's hilarious that John Wayne is as old as the actor playing the father of the love interest. You know,
No.
he is clearly 30 years. He's clearly, number one, he's too old to be a World War II vet in,
Yep.
what year was it? 1963. Right?
But
he's too old.
Because you had told me that, and after I watched it, I like to do the trivia. So I read the trivia on the movie, and apparently, and this, you know, I don't know if this is 100% true or not, or if this is what John Wayne's estate wants us to believe, but apparently John Wayne petitioned to have a more age-appropriate actress play opposite him, and he was very uncomfortable having to play the main love interest to this woman.
I have heard that also, and I did not look up trivia. My mother told me that way back when.
So, you know, I don't know, but that was a little weird. And then there were some funny bits, but I think if they would have spent just a little more time on, I don't know, character development just at the beginning. Like I don't need it to be a 3-hour movie, you know, Zack Snyder cut of anything, but just a little bit more like setup would make all of the jokes and everything else a lot funnier. But what I also heard or read on the trivia was that John Ford was very sick at the time of filming this, and it was actually, I think, his last film that he made. Yes. And so John Wayne, I guess, stepped in to direct, you know, somewhere around the 50% of the movie. Because if you watch Donovan's Reef compared to any other John Ford film, it just does not have the same cinematography or the things that you would look for in a John Ford film that you've seen in all of the John Ford films. And here you are in the tropical Hawaii, or, you know, whatever island they claimed it was. And
Lalakoa or something like that. Yeah.
And you don't really get any of the great John Ford vistas, and I know it's a comedy farce, but you can still do some, you know, amazing things with your location.
Right.
But I think that was overall my biggest gripe, is it took me so long to figure out, are Lee Marvin and John Wayne actually friends? Or are they not friends? What is John Wayne's name in this movie? And is it actually his bar? Because, you know, and of course it is, you know, Donovan's Reef is the name of the bar, and his name is Donovan, but you don't find that out until halfway through the movie. So it's kind of, as just somebody coming in and not being very familiar with it, and maybe it's one of those movies where upon repeat viewings it gets better and better. But I tell you, this first rewatch that I did, I was fairly confused on characters and what was going on. So,
well, full disclosure, I've seen this movie many times, so I know the story, I guess.
Yes.
And I think that the farce is hilarious.
No, it's enjoyable, and
right. A lot of the jokes are relevant to film of that time because, you know, Miss LaFleur, who was Lee Marvin's girlfriend, is a terrible singer, but she's played by Dorothy Lamour, who was with Bing Crosby and what the hell is his name? Bob Hope in all those damn movies that they did.
Oh yeah, like
so
White
she's
Christmas,
like a real professional singer.
Yeah, and I actually
a very good professional singer.
I heard that the one of the songs that she sang that wasn't very good, she had like a throat thing, and they didn't want to bother reshooting it or something, so they kind of played it off or whatever.
Yeah, she's like just trash.
And then I also read that they did a script rewrite and they wrote out a lot of Lee Marvin's dialogue and interaction with John Wayne in favor of playing up the romance portion of it.
Right. Well, you also have to remember Lee Marvin is the appropriate age to be a World War II vet, and John Wayne is not.
Yes.
John Wayne's 15 years older than Lee Marvin.
But now wasn't this one of Lee Marvin's like first films, or not first films, but maybe more top billing or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's check here.
Because I know like he was in Paint Your Wagon with Clint Eastwood, which is a fantastic Western / musical / comedy / drama. It's a long one, but it's really good. That's one of those, it's a really weird movie because the woman, the love interest in that movie, is she actually Mormon, or is she just open to multiple men? And so they both, Lee Marvin
yes.
and Clint Eastwood, have to like share their wife. So, you know, you already can tell that it's not your standard kind of John Wayne-esque with the puritanical rules Western.
Right. And I like Lee Marvin as the scoundrel.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like it. And Cesar Romero is a scoundrel. They're all scoundrels,
yes,
basically. Other than John Wayne, who's like playing John Wayne.
Well, he's a reformed scoundrel. Because they talk about scoundrel days.
Yes.
Which he tries to hide from the love interest in Donovan's Reef. And then they go up and they had that big monument, which he was trying to like hush hush to.
Right. Well, yeah, and the whole hook of the story is that they're trying to pretend that the children are his and not her father's.
Yes, because they're from a different marriage. Because her mother,
she doesn't know about
died,
and still a woman that's not white.
Yes, and so he fell in love with a Hawaiian woman, or whatever. I don't know if Hawaiian is the right term. I know, like
Polynesian.
Polynesian. Okay, perfect. Not meant to be racist in any way, shape, or form.
Well, they filmed the movie in Hawaii, but it's based in French Polynesia.
Okay, yeah.
So,
speaking of French Polynesia, this Cameroon is halfway done, and I think it's getting a little bit sweeter.
I think it's sweet, and it's very smooth, very pleasant.
It is
cigar.
Very smooth.
Very nice.
I wanted to make sure we talked about it because typically on the show, if it's a really good cigar, we don't really talk about it, because it's like, oh, it's so good, but it kind of lubricates the conversation as it.
The little bit of bitterness that was there at the beginning, which is always there at the beginning of the cigar,
yes, it's
kind of melted away.
It's melted away. It's become a little lighter in taste because of that sweetness, I think, and because the bitterness kind of faded away.
Yes, and it is very lovely. Quite lovely.
Yes. But, I would say that I actively dislike Donovan's Reef. I think there were maybe a few things that could have been done that would have made it better.
Right. I think a lot of the comedy is based on the actors playing the roles,
Yep.
Because they're all famous. Cesar Romero's famous.
Oh, yeah.
Lamar's famous. And they're just being kind of farcical based on their stereotypes. All other than John Wayne.
Yes.
And it's like stupid little, it's just like joke. Yeah. There's not really a need for a lot of background information,
No, and I think it is one of those ones where when I watch it again, not if, but, the next time that I watch it, I think I'll find it much more enjoyable having gone through it the first time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think one of my favorite ones where it's funny, like it's funny. Well, both of them actually is True Grit and Rooster Cogburn, because John Wayne plays kind of like a drunk cowboy, and in the first one, I can't remember the name of the woman that plays the in the movie, she's like a child that kind of like hires John Wayne to go get revenge, and she keeps calling him like a washed up old fat man. And then at the end of that film, he actually like jumps his horse over the fence, like he had been claiming the whole time. And then, and I think it's in that one. I can't remember if it's in that one or Rooster Cogburn, where he's drunk and falls off his horse, and then he's like, "We'll camp here tonight,"
Yes, I remember that.
But then, man, him playing a drunk, belligerent cowboy against Katharine Hepburn was some of the funniest stuff ever, I think.
Yeah, well, John Wayne was a good actor. He gets a lot of heat.
Yeah.
Because his early films were basically all just the same movie 100 times.
Yeah, well, he started out as singing Sandy, the singing cowboy, and he can't sing.
Right. He did play a good scoundrel several times.
Yes.
Most of the movies that are really good. Even Big Jake, he's a scoundrel.
Yeah.
A total son of a bitch.
You know what movie is really good?
Hmm.
Is The Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I'm trying to remember the, let's see. And man, the bad guy in that one is just nasty. Just nasty. It is, I'm pulling it up here, sorry. I'm so bad at names. It's Bruce Dern. But it's
Bruce Dern is one of the all-time great baddies in Hollywood.
He's a very young Bruce Dern, and he's just nasty. But that movie has pretty much everything you want. It's got humor. It's got John Wayne being a badass. It's got, heart, emotion. Really good underrated flick, I think. I mean, it wasn't underrated at the time, but like nowadays, when you say, hey, do you want to go watch a John Wayne movie? They're like, no, I hate the patriarchy or something like,
right.
It's almost not socially acceptable.
He's a man of a different era, so his political views are definitely not acceptable now.
No, and even some of the movies, right? Like, they're not politically correct in a lot of the movies he's in.
No.
And it was kind of that. I know in like film they've got like black exploitation, films that exploit black people. I don't know if they have a term for, I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing. It's like, indigenous exploitation films or something like that. But
sure.
I mean, there's a whole genre of those films out there. But I don't see many people like celebrating those as much as like the black exploitation films of the 70s. Even though Tarantino's done a couple Western-esque films, like Django is great.
Right, which is borderline blaxploitation also.
Yes. Although the black person is the protagonist.
Right. Well, I mean, all the blaxploitation films that I have seen, most of the characters are black. Including the protagonist, like Blackula. Yeah. Everybody's black in Blackula.
The best, well, not the best, but like the original Night of the Living Dead was groundbreaking for having the black man survive.
Right, and he died.
Nope. He was the only one that got out.
I thought that he was shot by the police when they showed up.
No, he got out of there.
Really? See, I thought that he survived, and then the cops showed up and they shot him.
I don't think so.
I thought that was like he was the hero that tried to keep everybody alive, and
I thought he survived, and that was I remember talking about that.
Let me see here, Night of the Living Dead, right?
Yep. And I'm looking up another one, another movie that I wanted to talk about here, real quick, just like as an in passing thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to look to see the synopsis.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure he died horribly. Because he was the hero. Definitely a hero. But plot. No. Yeah, Ben emerges from the cellar but is shot and killed. And then mistaken for a ghoul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
He was the only one that survived, and then the cops showed up. The white cops showed up and killed him.
So still, there's another movie, and I'm having trouble. I can never really remember what the name of this is. But they all kind of, it's like an 80s movie, right? Like an 80s horror movie, and they all go to this house. Because you went and watched a movie with Luke and myself, and we've seen a lot of movies, so we can really, I think this is it. So we can really, like, call a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know the tropes. And I think this is it, I'm pretty sure. I think it is called House of the Demon. Or no, Night of the Demons. Sorry, Night of the Demons. And all these people show up at this house, And, it gets really wild because it's an 80s horror film. But man, the people we thought were going to walk out of that house alive were not the people that walked out of that house alive. So we both really enjoyed it. Not that it's a great film, but we just enjoyed it because it kept us guessing. Right? Like it's one of, it's a cliche 80s horror film. But if you can keep the film people guessing, like you're doing something right.
Right. Well, that's like, we just finished up Stargate SG-1, and we're doing Atlantis, and we're watching them all in order they appeared on television. And there's definitely a formula.
Okay,
and
yeah.
It's always enjoyable when they break the formula in an unexpected way, which happens less often than is desirable. But
yeah, I was going to say, like, a lot of modern films, or not films, but like a lot of more recent, 2000 onward TV shows got very formulaic very fast. I'm thinking Lost. I'm thinking House MD. I'm thinking Dexter. All of these are shows that I never actually finished through to the final season because they got so formulaic.
Sure.
That it wasn't interesting, and I really didn't end up caring because they weren't doing anything to drive anything forward.
I didn't finish Vikings for the very same reason.
Okay.
The show Vikings.
I've heard of it. I've never watched it.
Oh. The first season is good. The second season's okay. Every single season gets worse and worse and worse. And it ends up being like, I left the show when it was like one of the major characters who was the son of the major character suddenly magically became not the son of the former major character. He's like the son of this other guy. And it's like, all right, there's all this sexual intrigue in the show already. And it's like, is there any legitimate children born to any of these fucking women ever?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that is not how reality works.
Well, and that's
it's breaking my belief in the show. Right.
Well, and we talked about this before when you go back and you retcon something.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back, and we talked about with Doctor Who and even Star Wars. They go back and they say, well, actually, what you watched 5 seasons ago, that's not true. We've got the new truth here, or something. Or the new whatever it is. They do that sometimes in these things, and they think, for whatever reason, they think that it's like a great writing gimmick, but it's really just a gimmick, and it sucks ass. Like, right. It's lazy. And then it makes your viewers wonder if the writers have even watched the show sometimes. Like if you go back and you retcon something and you're like, yeah, but there are all these great things that you're kind of undoing by doing this.
Right.
They think, oh, it's going to be a big twist, like a soap opera twist. Well, keep that stuff in the soap operas because we're actually intelligent viewers and we're keeping track of what's happening. And right. You can't go back and then you say, well, okay, but then if I know this and go back and watch that one episode that meant a lot to me, now it means nothing because this is no longer true. So.
Yeah, the soap opera twist is pathetic. It's like a professional wrestling twist.
Yeah.
Most adults do not watch professional wrestling for a reason. You know what I mean?
Instead of the chair, he's going to grab the ladder. Okay.
Uh-huh. Oh, no, it's like...
No, I know.
I mean, it's so stupid. It's like, oh, yeah. There's a few good twists out there that we all know about in professional wrestling specifically. But I stopped watching professional wrestling when I was in 7th grade or something like that for a reason,
Yeah, I never really watched it. I had some friends, I think in elementary school, that watched it. And they were pretty gung-ho about it. But
that was the Attitude WCW era.
Yeah,
it was very popular.
But that's kind of the target audience is elementary school children.
Right. Yeah, teenage boys.
Or,
and younger.
Yes. Or men that have hair that's longer in the back than in the front.
Yes. I resemble that remark.
Yeah, but you don't have a mullet. You've got gorgeous locks. Not a mullet.
I do. It's all long. Even though I did trim my beard again. Nice and tight.
Yep. I'm getting to that stage now. Like it's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Minnesota, and but it's getting to that point where it's like I'm gonna start growing the winter beard. So not quite
I'm
yet.
not gonna let it get as long as I did during COVID.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous. You got to the point where I couldn't even fucking eat.
Yep.
So.
And everybody loves to eat. I know I do.
Everybody loves to eat. Yeah. Nobody wants their beard hair coming up into their mouth. So.
Mine. So I'm at a little less than an inch, and it's starting to get a bit bitter on me.
Oh wow! See, I have an inch and a half. I kind of slowed down and really kind of enjoyed how smooth it was.
Okay. Yeah. I had this one. You know what? This one, I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's how they pack it, right? But I had going like a 2.5 inch ash on this one. It was phenomenal. Wow. It was amazing.
It had nice ash.
It did. Very good. And I drank. I started out with a Foggy Geezer from War Pigs, which is really good. I don't like that. Mike doesn't like that, but you know what? It's good. And and I'm finishing here now with another one Mike doesn't like, and that's a Spotted Cow. But we went.
Not that I don't like it. I just don't think it's anything special.
It's special because you can't get it outside of Wisconsin, and sure. It's not a bad beer. It's not my go-to from them, but we went and visited my brother for his baby shower, and then we bought a 24-pack of Spotted Cow, and then we got Dave, who was on as a guest many episodes back now, in the early days. We got him his favorite, which is the Two Women lager. My favorite is the Moon Man.
I've never had Moon Man.
Okay.
I've had some of their sours, which I liked all of them. They were all good.
Next time I'm over there, I'm going to grab some Moon Man for you and I, and we're going to do a special Moon Man episode or something.
Perfect.
I know we're a cigar podcast, but we'll work it in.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We talk once a week podcast is what we are.
Yes. We shoot the shit and let you know if the thing we're smoking is good or not. And I would recommend this one. This one's really good.
Yeah, they're good. The nubs are very popular for a reason, for good reason. Well respected. So this is one of the more well-known. No, not really. The Rocky Patels are really famous too, but this is generally more mainstream. If you go to a decent cigar shop, they're going to have a couple nubs there for sure.
Oh yeah, they're going to have some. I would recommend grabbing this Nub Cameroon, and if you can smoke inside, throw on Donovan's Reef if you want something that's not your stereotypical John Wayne movie.
Right, it's slapstick. You're going to find the king of the United States of America in there, and
yep. That was
a priest that steals money.
but he won't ever fix his roof.
Right, he won't ever fix his roof.
He'll make you upset as a homeowner. Like if you own a home, you're going to be mad at this guy.
Some relatively mild anti-Chinese racist jokes, which I even caught on when I was a teenager.
Oh,
was like,
you know what?
That's a racist joke.
You know what my favorite part of the whole thing was? Was when the British people come to his bar, and they get into this huge fight because they're calling them limeys and everything. Yes. And the British are trying to be all proper and everything, and they just get into this like mad free-for-all brawl. Like that was worth watching the movie, in my opinion. That was like the best part.
I like how half the British guys are clearly not British.
Well, yes.
They have Michael Wayne is the commander, even though he's younger than all the other guys. Like, what? How did that happen? Yep.
Is his son's name Michael or Patrick?
I think it's Patrick Michael Wayne or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all the he's got all of his kids have like the Patrick and the Michaels and the. Oh yeah. Because his name is Maurice Patrick, but he was supposed to be called Maurice Michaels. So
his name is Marion.
Yeah, Marion.
I've been to his birthplace.
Oh, really?
Yes. Somerset, Iowa.
Nice.
Worth a trip if you're, in Iowa for any other reason.
Right.
But I don't really recommend Iowa to people. Unless you, the listener, are from there, then it's my favorite state.
Right. I mean, I've spent some time in Iowa working, and it was fine. They do tractor pulls and stuff. I know John Wayne Gacy's from there, so it's got to be an interesting place. Right?
Well, huzzah!
Yeah, right. Got to be known for something. So, anyway, yeah, this is a good cigar. Gets bitter towards the end, which is not surprising given its girth.
Well, and length too.
Well, it's a relatively short cigar, but it is.
That's what I mean. Like, it's short.
Yeah. Big around. Woohoo.
But the start of our Nub series, this was a good start. And catch us next week for the next in the Nub series.
Be safe, have fun.
Thanks for listening.